So, hello students. Uh, Today we are going to see a new chapter which is known as input and output functions in C language. Okay, so here you can see that uh, in this chapter we are going to see the important input and output instruction used in C language. Okay, so the most important aspects of any programming language is its input and output abilities. C provides many function parts, input and output operation. The input functions are used to read data from the input device like keyboard, mouse, etc. The output function is used to display data on the monitor, printer or file storage. Here you can see that the input and output function plays a vital role not only in C language but in any programming language. Okay, so console input and output functions. So functions to receive input from the keyboard and write output to the screen is called console input output functions. So console input output functions can be further classified into two categories. So formatted console input output functions, unformatted console input output functions. So formatted console input output functions, the functions like printf and scanf falls under the category of formatted console input output functions. So why they are calling this printf and scanf as formatted console input output? Because it is, you can change whatever you like. Okay, so using this function you can change the input or you can change the output as you need. Okay, so that's why it is known as formatted uh, input output function, console input output functions. So first we are going to see this printf is a function that is used to print values of variables and also print the given text. So there are you can print the values of a variable directly or you can just give some text to print it. Okay, so these are all the two options that are available in printf. So in the last part you can see that there is uh, a syntax. Okay, at the end of page number 23 you can see that there is two boxes to denote the syntax of printf function. So control string for variable and variable 1, variable 2 up to variable n. Okay, so you have to follow this syntax for printing values in the output screen. Okay, so printf, it is a keyword, so you have to C is a case sensitive language. So if you give anything wrong, okay, if you misspell any keywords, then it will create an error, syntax error. Okay, so here you can see that you have to follow the syntax as it is, and at the end of this statement you have to end it with the semicolon. So that's why the computer will understand the statement is ending here. Okay, so the first box denotes the syntax for printing values of a variable, and the second box denotes the text uh, to print the normal text. Okay, so in the next page you can see that there are the control strings for each data type. Okay, so if you are using first variable, okay, so first syntax for printf, then you have to provide uh, respective control strings for the particular data type. Okay, if you are printing integer value variable, then you have to use %d. So if you are printing float value variable, then it should be %f. So if you are printing character value variable, then you have to use %c in the place of control strings. So if you are printing long integer type variable, then you have to use %ld, not 1d, that is ld. Okay, so you have to use this respective control strings to print values of a variable. Okay, so next is scanf function. So scanf function is used to get input of any value through the keyboard from the user at runtime. Okay, so when you are writing, you can write program in such a way that it access the real-time values from the user. Okay, say for example, you can write a program that enter the mark of a quarterly exam or enter the mark of the half-yearly exam, so that the user can enter the current mark. So if you want to use that current data, then you can use this scanf function. Okay, so the scanf function will collect the value from the user and store it in the variable. Okay, so there is a syntax for this also. So scanf, so the same control strings for particular variables. Okay, if you want to get an integer value from the user, then you have to use this %d. Okay, so all the things are the same, so as printf, but here you can see that there is a and symbol before every variable name. Okay, which denotes the memory location of the variable. Whatever value that you give to the variable, then the value will be stored in the memory location of the variable, not in the variable. Okay, so that's what they have given the and symbol before the variable. So you have to give the values according to the order that is given in the instruction. Okay, say for example, at variable 1 you have assigned name. Okay, but if you give any number, then it will get the number and store it in the place of the name. So at the time of output, or at the time of calculating any uh, process, then you will be getting some error. Okay, so please make sure that you are providing correct data to the correct variable. Okay, so these are all the example programs. First program is just a simple print function. Okay, so and they are using this print function to print some stars and welcome to C language. So here you can see that these are all the outputs of the particular uh, program. Okay, so the next program here, example for printf and scanf function. So here they are declaring three variables. So integer a comma b comma c. Okay, so three variables. So the above two lines, you can see that hash include stdio.h. Stdio.h stands for standard input output dot header file. You are including that header file in your program. So console input output dot header file, so you are including that header file in your program. So this header file is a library function which is already created by the software designer. So you can just use it and use the functions like printf and scan. Okay, so standard input output dot header file, when you are using this printf and scanf, then you have to use this header file stdio.h. Okay, and next is console input output dot getter file, this clr scr and get ch. When you are using these two functions, then you have to compulsorily use this include file console input output dot header file. Okay, so here they are declaring three variables a comma b comma c. The next is statement they are using clr scr, which clears the screen before showing your output. Okay, so already the previous user would have created so many outputs that will be there in the console screen. So if you create a clr scr, then it will clear the screen for your output. Okay, so now it is showing you the uh, text that enter a and b value. Okay, so when this will be displayed when you compile this program and run this program, it will be displaying that enter a comma b value. Okay, so and then the next statement is scanf statement, so it will be waiting for your output. Okay, sorry, for your input. Okay, so the first value that you provide will be stored in a variable name a, and the second value that you have entered will be stored in variable b. Okay, now they are processing. When you press enter, then you can see that c is equal to a plus b is the next instruction. So the two values will be added and stored in the variable name c, and here you can see that in the next statement they are printing the value of c. Okay, so and the next statement is get ch. So this get ch will print the result you need. Okay, so here is the output. So now you can see that enter the a comma b value. So 10 comma you should not give comma 10 space 20. Okay, so if you didn't give that space, it will consider as a single number like 1020. So that will be a difficult one to understand. Okay, so 10 means a separate value and 20 means separate value. So these two values is separated by a space. Okay, so this is example program for formatted console input output function. The next thing is for unformatted console input output function. So in this function you can see that you cannot able to change the format of the function. Okay, so it will be a default function. You have to give the value for it and it will produce the output of it. Okay, so if you want to change like what is the data type and change the place of the variable, then you can't able to do it. Okay, so this is the disadvantages of using this unformatted input output functions. Okay, so there are four functions there: get char, put char, get s, and put yes. Okay, get char is for getting a character, a single character from the user. Put char is for printing a single character to the monitor, and get s means collecting a group of letters or group of words from the user, and put s means printing some group of letters or paragraph in the screen. Okay, so here they are given some example here. So here they will be using a variable to get. Okay, so a is equal to, here you can see that a is equal to get char. Okay, so you have used the uh, function get char. So this function will get a single letter from the user and store it in variable name a. Okay, so they are using put char for printing the variable name a. Okay, so the content of variable name a will be printed in the screen. So same as it is get s, which means it will get a group of letters from the user. So they are giving character name 20. Okay, maximum characters or maximum letters that can be received from the uh, user is 20. Okay, so here you can see that print um, enter the string, this will be displayed on the screen. So when you enter the name or any text that is below 20 characters will be stored in variable name, and the next statement the given string is will be printed, and put s will print the content of variable name. Okay, so this is the unformatted console input output functions. Okay, so next is turbo C IDE. IDE stands for integrated development environment. So turbo C is a software that is used to program C language. Okay, so this software is available in the internet so that you can download it and install it in your computer to work with the C language. Okay, so a group of instruction or IDE, integrated development environment, so many services are grouped together to form a software. Okay, so how to write a program in a IDE. Okay, so this Turbo C icon will be available in your desktop. You have to double click it and you can see a screen like this. Okay, so this is the opening screen of the IDE. So you have to click on this file option, which is the first one: file, edit, search, run, compile. These are all the menu that will be available at the top of the screen. So you can select the file by using your mouse or by using your keyboard mouse pointer. Okay, so keyboard navigation keys. Okay, so when you press the right key, a blue color bar will move from left to right. Okay, so you can place that green color bar over the file name and press enter key to uh, open the options. Okay, so these are all the options that are available in the file menu. So file, new, you have to create a new file. Then this will provide you a new file like this. Then you have to type the information or type the instruction C program here, and you have to save it as any file name. Okay, any file name with any file name dot C. Okay, so you have to save it and then you have to compile it. Okay, so compile, you can see a separate menu at the top of it. Next to run, you can see a compile option. So this compile action will take all the instruction from the program and check whether it is having any errors. If it is having any errors, then it will show you the particular error, and then you have to correct it. So after correction, you have to recompile it again, make sure that there is no error in your program. So after you check whether your program doesn't have any error, then you can run the program. So before compile, there is a menu known as run menu. So you have to click on that and then click run again, and then the program will run means execute, get executed, and you can see the output on the console screen. Okay, so there is some shortcut keys are available for this compile. So uh, compile, you can see that control F9. Okay, in the next page you can see that. So control shortcut key for compile is alt F9. uh, alt F9, and run, the shortcut key for run is control F9. Okay, so when you compile the program, this screen will be available. It will be checking a single instruction time at a time and show you the current instruction that is checked. Okay, so after that it will show you that there is no errors. If you are having any error, then it will show the number of errors in the program. Okay, so and you can see that if you are having errors, it will show the number of errors like 1 or 2 or 3, something like that. Okay, so you can press any key in the keyboard to view the errors, and it will show you the line of the number which has the error. Okay, in which line of code the error is there, it will show you, and you have to check it and you have to rectify it to view the result of the program. Okay, so after running the program, it will show you the output and you can get it back. Okay, you can come outside of the screen to view the program again. Okay, so with this we'll finish the class today. We'll see the exercise of this chapter in the next class. Thank you, students.